Hey guys, welcome to Chapter 15. This chapter ties together what we've been learning about in the immunology sections with what you've been doing in lab all semester. So I'm really hopeful that you find this chapter a little bit interesting as well as a nice refresher for you. So why is this topic important? This specific topic is really important because it provides an overview of how we diagnose infectious disease in the hospital lab. So it's really important that you understand how that works. So make sure that you feel very confident in all of the topics we're going to talk about, but start with this one because this one is going to introduce all of our future topics. As always, here's our topic objectives. Please let me know if you have any questions about these objectives. I really want to make sure you understand them. So come to my office hours, email me, chat in class, we'll figure it all out. So there are three types of methods that we use for microbial identification. These are phenotypic. This is a lot of what you've been doing in the lab this semester, phenotypic analysis, and we'll talk about this in topic 2 lecture. Genotypic, where we look only at the genes of the microbe. This is topic 3, and immunologic, and this is topic 4 that we'll talk about how that works. And those ones you've done a little bit if you've taken A&P or will do when you take A&P. So the most important thing in the hospital lab, besides actually knowing what tests to do, is sample collection. These samples have to be handled with care and transported immediately to the lab. If you get a contaminated sample, that's going to ruin the entire sample. Or if you mishandle a sample, say a sample needs to be refrigerated, but you leave it on the counter at room temperature, that can also ruin a sample. So it's really, really important to make sure you get a sterile sample and that you handle it appropriately and you get it to the lab as soon as possible. Otherwise, you'll have to put the patient through the sampling process again to take a new sample. And remember, we talk about the microbiota being everywhere. It's an easy way between the microbiota on your skin, on their surfaces, and environmental microbes in the room itself to be able to get cross-contamination. So it's really, really important that you pay attention to where you set things down, what you touch, how you handle it, as well as then how you store it and wipe down the samples afterwards. So there's a couple different techniques that you do in the hospital lab, and we'll talk about each of these in the next couple topics. But there are studies you do on the patient, and there's studies you do on the microbe. The ones you do on the patient can be the immunological, serological tests that we're going to talk about. This is where we test their blood for different antibodies or pathogens. We also can do testing on the person, such as a skin test, like when you get the TB skin check. And then the last one is we do clinical signs and symptoms. This is almost the first thing you do when anybody walks in the door. You look at them for fever, you look for them for inflammation, look for a variety of symptoms. So then the ones that are done in the hospital laboratory, once you have samples, there's two different types. There's the culture and isolation, which you all are very familiar with after completing lab this semester. And then we have the direct tests, such as gram staining, which most of you can probably do in your sleep at this point. We do a bunch of different things like this, and this allows us to get to a confirmatory test as to what the results are and what your patient has. And we're going to talk about each of these tests in the next topic. So this is the end of this really brief topic today, but if you have any questions, please let me know. But make sure you have a good handle on what the three method types are, where we sample from and what's important about sampling, and the different assays and where we perform them. And before you move on to the next topics, because this is setting up the stage for the next couple topics. Thanks.